Hey, what's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach, and today I'm interviewing Jonathan McKinnies out of South Bend, Indiana. What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. Well, I am definitely looking forward to my next visit to South Bend because you've got a great branch. You do it right. Everybody, I visited Jonathan. What was it, about a year? Was it 2 years ago or a year ago? Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah, and this guy's doing it right. I mean, he's bringing a lot of families through his in-office experience, which is great. He's leveraging technology, so he's, high touch, high tech mortgage professional, and he's differentiating based off of the advice that he delivers, which is making him one of the top producers in his company, a profitable loan officer and branch. So Jonathan, just share real quick, what are your numbers so far for the year? And then let's get into some questions.
Yeah, just through about year to date, we're at about 27 million in closings, and average loan amount right now is around 150,000 in our area. And so we're doing pretty well. We're hitting our volume numbers. We're a little bit down on units, but we're still doing really well and reaching the goals that we've set out for at the beginning of the year. Mainly purchase business. We're still at about, I'd say 90% purchase is where we're at right now.
Good. And then how many families or how many loans served for the year? Where do you think you'll land?
I think we're going to end up over 200 for sure. That's the goal, and we're hitting that stride right now. So we're at about an average of 20 families per month closed.
Okay, so killing it. That's fantastic business. So I am trying to interview people, and that's why I picked you, where they've got this great high touch experience, and where the advice is your unique value prop. Let's face it, today's market, just promising people that you'll close loan in 20 days or less, that's not unique. That's not a unique value prop. It's kind of table stakes. So walk us through a couple families. Why don't you start with the first one, tell us the story, and then walk us through the total cost analysis and how you delivered the value.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. And the first one is a client we actually just closed on this week, as a matter of fact. So this was the original TCA that we went over. And so what this one was, the interesting thing is they're first-time home buyers. So a lot of loan officers feel as though the TCAs will be a little bit too detailed and cumbersome for your first-time home buyer. It's just too much information. It's only geared for people that are engineers or people that really care so much about the details. But I would have to argue against that, because what this did for me is it showed my borrower, Mackenzie. So it's Mackenzie and Jeremiah on here. And Mackenzie and Jeremiah are going to be getting married soon. And they actually together made too much money for the Home Ready or Home Possible program. And so you can see here on the left-hand column on the summary page of the TCA, it's a 3% download with just Mackenzie on the loan. And then I showed them, here's what the 3% down would look like if it was in both names. However, if you did that, they would not qualify for the Home Ready or the Home Possible program because their loan application, the income would be too high. And then I just showed them what it would look like if they did 5% down in both names. Well, what we ended up doing, we just closed on it. Like I said, they opted for the 3% down loan in just Mackenzie's name. We added Jeremiah to the title of the property. And so he still had, full legal rights to the property. He felt okay with that. They were able to put less money down, have a lower interest rate compared to the loan being in both names. And if you go to the more info button here, and we can see the payment breakdown, although it's not that a huge difference, you can see the PMI was a little bit lower than if it was in both names. And they didn't have to go with the 5% down, so the cash to close was actually lower than the 5% down option. So really the balance between the 3% down in both names and the 5% down in both names was simply go with 3% down in Mackenzie's name, keep more money in your pocket, keep your payment very close to what the payment would be if you had 5% down, and everybody's happy. And so we were able to make that work for them. And they were first-time buyers, and I just got a review. They filled out a social survey review for me, and they were just a 5-star review, just saying that how transparent and how great the process was from myself and my team. So that was a very good one.
Love it. Hey, let's scroll down real quick and look at the kind of interim, the impact over, it looks like you showed 60 months and the impact over 15 years. So by the way, Jonathan, an idea that you could have done, and highly recommend you guys make this move, is scroll back up to the top, is, think of, the first one is strategy 1, strategy 2, and strategy 3. You could have said, hey, strategy 1 looks like it's going to give you the lowest monthly payment. It's going to save you $48 a month. And then in addition to this, you could have said, well, what if we, took that one and we prepaid the mortgage? Now look at how much faster you're building up your equity. Look at how much faster you're going to be able to buy that next home. So by the way, just heads up, Jonathan, that might have been something to think about.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And for anyone watching it, this is what's important. Your advice needs to make a difference. So Jonathan helped them go from confusion to clarity. This is obvious value. Highly do recommend that you guys, whenever you're picking a strategy where you're saving them a monthly amount, or even in this case, you saved them monthly and cash to close, do show, kind of blow up the impact by adding it to prepayment. And it blows up your value. You become
Absolutely.
a more valuable resource. So cool. Anything else on this one?
No, that's an excellent idea too. Sometimes it's easy to overlook that, just that simple, what would you do if you reinvested that savings? And so I've done that, but I didn't do it on this one. So that's a really good idea. Thank you.
Yeah. And by the way, just a reminder, also it fits into that thing that I'm your lender for life. I'm going to help you get a great transaction. And you know what? I'm thinking past the transaction. I'm thinking, how can you pay off your home faster? How can you build up enough equity to buy that move up home? So when you kind of add that next move, you're more than, hey, you provided great transparency. You know what? I'm helping you build wealth with real estate. And it's almost like you've closed deal number 2 while you're closing deal number 1. So think about that too. Jonathan, let's do the next one, man.
Yeah. So this next one, simply, nothing that's too, it's not rocket science on this one. I did send him a video. So what I normally do is I'll meet with the client. Most of the time, my goal is to meet face-to-face. And so in our market, one of the things that I try to do is get them into the office. And so when I do, I'll go over a TCA in person. And then when they leave, I'll send them the link with a video thanking them for meeting with me and then reiterating some of the information in my video. So on this one, Brian, I just resent him a video. His was a little bit interesting. I didn't, once again, do the reinvestment strategy, which I should have. So now I feel like I'm not quite where I need to be, Dave. So I'll get there, though.
We're doing this so we can all get better. I mean,
right, exactly.
Everybody's getting better. We're all learning here, so it's all good.
Yeah. So here's one I did. I simplified this for him. We kind of had a strategy where I thought we were going to go with a conventional loan. So I put it, his credit was at a point where, he was right on the fence of either going conventional or FHA. And so I showed him both options. And as a matter of fact, the interest rate was a little bit higher on both options simply because of his credit for us. And so they were very similar rates. And the payment on the conventional loan was a little bit lower than the FHA, but his cash to close, you can see, was a little bit higher on the conventional loan. And so when I ran the numbers for him, I showed him his monthly payment difference on the conventional. I showed him his 60-month savings on the conventional compared to the FHA. And then I even showed him a 15-year snapshot of how much he'd pay in interest and mortgage insurance on the FHA compared to the conventional. So at face value, you would think that he would have went with the conventional. And so that's the way that we were leaning up front. But really, when it was all said and done, he went with an FHA loan simply because he would rather have had about an extra $3,000 in his bank. And that's all he really cared about at the time. And so it's interesting. Everything was leaning toward conventional, but because I at least presented the FHA, it showed him another option that I probably wouldn't even have considered without the mortgage coach presentation, because a lot of loan officers tend to just sort of push the client into one option. And he made the decision to go with the FHA. And I told him, whatever you want me to do, that's fine, but here's the numbers. And so that's what we went with, the FHA then.
So guys, here's just a simple, FHA versus conventional, but uncommon level of transparency. You added a video to it, uncommon level of value. And what does that do? It creates a client for life. It reduces, price shopping. And if you do get shopped, you're more likely to win. By the way, and you might have said it, did this person come into the office? Yes or no?
He came into the office. Absolutely.
And then you still added the video. What was the thinking on that?
It was just more of a thanks for meeting with me. So I can play it probably, I think. Let me just play it real quick here.
It's not showing up, but guys, here's the deal. There's a link down below. You're watching this on YouTube, link down below. And by the way, that is a move we highly recommend. I mean, obviously, if you didn't get the family into your office, the video has, call it 3x value because you weren't able to emotionally connect with them. It's like the numbers are to logically, here's the options. The video is emotional connection. But here's the deal. This family member, this decision maker came into your office. There's probably other people that are being impacted by the transaction that weren't in your office. And now they all get the link, they get the video, everybody gets impacted. And then of course, it's just a nice touch. It's just an extra, I care about you and I want to make sure I deliver these options. So the video really makes a difference. By the way, what kind of review did you get on this one?
One of his comments were that I was very transparent, and we were able to give him very specific information that other people couldn't. And I can go through situation on situation and review upon review about just how most people think that we are very transparent, very communicative. We explain the process very well. And his was, you know what, I'm showing my screen right now, aren't I?
Yeah, that's so good.
That's all right. So I was showing that, but the point is the verbiage that they use is always, you're transparent, you're giving me the information that the other lenders aren't giving me. And so it's great. I love having that reputation of giving education, giving transparency, and being upfront with everybody on all the numbers.
So hopefully the takeaway for everybody is turning advice into a value proposition. You have it. If you're watching this video, you're either a member of Mortgage Coach, or it's easy to become a member of Mortgage Coach. Just go to our website, request a demo, or if your company is a partner of ours, let them know that you want to get lit up, get turned on as a mortgage coach. But my goal is that you start using it as your differentiator. You deliver real advice. Hopefully these mortgage strategies helped you kind of turn on the light bulb on how to deliver better advice. By the way, if you would like me to interview someone or do a mortgage strategy, like, hey, Dave, I want a mortgage strategy on blank, comment down below. Let me know what mortgage strategies you want. I'm interviewing top producers. I want to create a library of mortgage strategies that help you. Jonathan, you absolutely crushed it. Any final thoughts for the Mortgage Coach community before we wrap it up?
No, I just think it's something that it's easy to implement once you wrap your mind around just changing your process, your flow just a little bit. And to me, I didn't really have to change my flow that much. Once again, I used to give paper estimated cash to close worksheets to people. Now all I do is I turn my screen around when they're in the office, show them the TCA options, and then I can still print it off. I can give it to them to take with them, but then I'll send a link to the live TCA with a video, and all it is value added, and my real estate agent referral partners, they love it, and my clients appreciate it. I think it's a great, unique value proposition that still a lot of loan officers aren't willing to implement. They don't know anything about it, and it just sets us apart. So it's been great.
Yeah. Well, I also really love what you said, where a lot of people think that, Mortgage Coach is only for the, affluent, or it's only for the sophisticated. No, everybody, how you deliver it, like in this particular case, it was a, FHA versus conventional, and $3 in cash to close drove the FHA, but it delivered clarity and confidence, helped that family make an informed decision. So, everybody wants a Mortgage Coach report. It's just a question of how you have the conversation. By the way, how long does it take you or your team to create one? That's another thing we hear all the time, is it takes too long.
No, I actually I can create a TCA while the client's sitting across the desk from me, and it can take me as little as 5 minutes because I've got my template set up. And once you have one of your loan options in the system, then you can just copy it. And then it's really easy. Just change a couple numbers after you've copied it. So it's very easy to maneuver even when they're sitting across the desk from you. So it hasn't been an issue for me.
Good. Well, again, everybody, hopefully you got value. If you got value, give us a like, share it with your mortgage friends. If you're a branch manager, let me know if you have any other mortgage strategies. Also, this is within a playlist called Mortgage Strategies. So this is part of a series in our YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out. And Jonathan, really appreciate you, brother.
Thanks.
Take care, man.
You too.